Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of May I Scraplift You. Today we are using, I am using this particular page from the Organized Crafter, and that is the Instagram handle that she uses, so you can go and check her out. It's the_organized_crafter, and I really like this page. I like that it had a lot of movement to it, and so I thought it would be really perfect for this photo that has my husband taking Noah for his first ride on his scooter. He hasn't quite mastered how to use it himself, but he can stand on it and be pulled around. And of course, this is just the first day he got it. So I'm sure he will have it mastered before too long. So I started by just using my craft knife and an acrylic ruler just to cut the pieces into the same shapes that were in the original. And then I went ahead and I ran them through my sewing machine so that there's a nice little stitched edge along each of them. And then I'm roughing them up with my distress tool just to give the edges a little bit more texture so they stand out a little bit more when I overlap them. And I really like how that looks. I'm using paper from AB Tangerine's new collection, Bold and Brave, I believe is what it's called. And I'm using that turquoise side, even though I really love the black side with the little white hearts. But I'm using, it's not really turquoise, it's more teal. So I am using the darker side, and I really like that. I said darker side, but the other side is black, so it can't be darker. Anyway, you get the point. So I am going to do things slightly different in that I am flipping the whole page upside down because my photo faces the opposite direction. I didn't really want it to look like he was scooting off of the page, and it just didn't look quite right having having him on the opposite side of the page with the lines still going in the same direction. If I had been thinking about it, I probably would have cut them the exact opposite so that the slopes were going the opposite direction, but I didn't. So that was my way to fix it without, wasting paper and all the work I had already done. And I think it looks great anyway at the end, so it's not a big deal. I am tucking in the strings, the little leftover pieces of thread, just running my ATG over them to kind of hold them in place as I glue everything down. I didn't want to cut those off too short because I didn't want things to unravel, and I didn't have washi tape with me at the time, so that was my little way of tucking them in and making sure they stay put. I am ruffling up those little edges there, and you can see I kind of play here, like this is where I think it's going to go, which it ends up going. In the original photo, it was completely flipped around, and it just did not look right to me. So that was kind of what I decided to go with. Now I did want to add a little mixed media. It looked like there was some mixed media on her page as well. So I'm just using this glacier paste from Nuvo, and I'm using the star stencil from Paige Evans, and I really love this stencil, and I love glacier paste. It goes on so smooth, and it's just really beautiful. So it's got that glittery effect in it as well. And I really liked the color of yellow for this. A lot of times I will use paper glaze, which I love as well, but this particular yellow looks really good with this kind of teal color. And then I got these new stamps. These are from 49th and Market. They are like a Metsy stitched stamp. And so I thought I'd go around the white parts with that stamp and just give it a border. And I like how that looks. It kind of feels like it holds everything in. If you know me and I use white, I typically like to either do stitching or sketchy lines around the outside or back it with another color. So in this case, I decided to try these like stitched stamps. And I'm using one of the less messy looks here for this particular layout. So I like how that looks. And then I'm going to use some foam tape to pop my photo up onto some foam because all of that texture where the seams are would make my photo kind of have lumps under it. So I just wanted to bridge the gap there. And then I just went through my yellow box of ephemera and stickers and started looking through there to see what I thought I might want to use. I've had some of these for many years, so I can't tell you where everything came from, but I do end up using those words that say Family Joy on the bottom of that sticker sheet on the left-hand side. And I do end up using that tag I just pulled out. And I'm pulling out some other things, like I pulled out the little thing that says March, and I pull out one that says April because I couldn't actually remember if it was the end of March or the beginning of April that we gave it to him. So I pulled out both as I was going through stuff, so I didn't have to like go back through and find the opposite one, because that's what would happen with my luck. I'd pull out March and it would be in April. And in fact, it was in April, but I do pull out the April piece, and so that works really well. So I'm pulling out anything I think that would work, anything that has words that are appropriate for the situation, and shapes that I think would be nice shapes. I do really like this tag, but I am going to cut the top of it off, and I'm going to use the bottom piece on the bottom right hand side of the photo. But I had to move my photo to make that fit, because otherwise it was over the seam, and I didn't want it to be over the seam because I want that seam to carry all the way through, and I didn't want to have to cut that the tag piece down. I am inking it up with a little bit of ink from Prima, and it's a little bit more of an orangey yellow than what is on some of these pieces, so it does kind of make things stand out just a bit more. That foam tape is super sticky, so it takes a little bit of work to get the thing pulled up without like ruining the photo at all. And most of my photos are printed on my selfie printer, and so the paper is very tolerant of moving things around and, you know, spilling water on it or whatever it happens to be, mixed media. You can wipe it down with a wet cloth and it doesn't matter. So there's that piece that says April, and down on the bottom I think I'm going to leave those flowers there where it has that chipboard piece that says snapshots, but I am going to move that around a little bit to fit a little bit better. I thought I was going to use Family Joy right over the center of that big flower, and I'm inking it up so that it's a little brighter, but I don't end up using it there. It doesn't stand out enough for my liking, so I am going to change that just a bit. I'm going to move it down into this bottom left-hand corner, and I am definitely going to move those flowers around a bit. I do consider putting it in this location as well, but in the end it ends up down here in the bottom, which I like that just as well. So it says Family Joy and Snapshots, and it has that little flower. That is how it will end up being. So I like the way that looks. And then I pull in these little chipboard pieces, and some of them I think the saying is just like perfect. I think one says brave and one says not ready, which, I mean, he wasn't really ready to learn how to do it by himself. He's only 2, but it's a good thing for him to start working towards. And then since that tag had that green mandala type shape on it, I decided that my other 2 embellishment areas needed that as well. So you can see I changed locations, and I pulled out the paper that I had that matches that tag and cut out a couple of those mandala type circles to tuck in so that it brings that green into all of the other areas. And I think that works well because there's so much green in the photo. Otherwise, I'm not sure that it would be a really good fit depending on what your photo is. But because, like I said, there's so much green in the photo, it brings that green into all of the other embellishment areas. So it works out really well. And I'm just using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to add some liquid glue there to make sure everything stays down and stays put. And I'm liking how it's coming together so far. You should go and check out all of the other people that are playing along with today's May I Scraplift You. I will have links in the description box down below for you. Crystal Barrett at Pineapple Papers is definitely playing along because this is her series, and she may or may not, actually I believe she is scrapbooking the same or lifting the same person today, but all of the layouts that we choose could be different, and we actually were given the option to choose the same people she's using, or we could choose whoever we want. And for most most days I do use the same list that she came up with, but there are a few changes on a couple of the days. So hopefully you come back and check out all of the other lifts for the rest of the month. I am just going to put a little note that we got Noah this scooter for Easter. I'm just using my white Arteza pen that works really well, and I am super happy with the way that that came out. The close-ups are coming up here in just a few moments, so if you stay tuned for that, that would be awesome. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of fiber to the top of this tag. It does have a turquoise thread in it, which I really like. It brings everything together and finishes it off nicely. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate you spending time with me. And if you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. I do get back to you as quickly as I can. And I do appreciate any likes or subscribes that you might click on down there. And if you're already a subscriber, I really appreciate the time that you spend watching my videos, and thank you for subscribing. I will see you guys again tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.